that's a tremendous looking trophy.
Hello and welcome to Platinum
I'm going to have to
Explosion,
stop
the
you there
number
for
one
a second.
PlayStation.
Who the fuck are you? Where's Dylan gone? I'm used to interrupting him in the introduction of this
H-O-B-L-E-Y. It's a thing.
This show.
Yeah, Dylan is out. He's Christmas shopping. And Kieran couldn't come on because he's also Christmas shopping. He's got to get all those traps to trap. They're on discounted for Christmas sales, so we can get Dylan next time.
Yeah.
But this is Platinum Explosion, the number one PlayStation podcast in the Oceanias. And I'm joined today by the Kiwi trophy hunter, Thomas Marshall.
Good evening, Ashley. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with you, despite pretending to not know who you were as I interrupted your introduction.
Yeah, it's weird that you wouldn't know who I was after we've been doing this for, 11 months or something?
Yeah, I feel like we've met a couple times, but not in the case. In fact, I made a note to you a few weeks ago that I hadn't been on an episode of yours of Pleasure Explosion for three rotations or something like that. It just always happened that your episode I was out. So you haven't actually hosted a show that I have been on with you in probably months. So I think it's entirely reasonable that I forgot who you were for a moment.
Yep, okay. That's a good way to start the show off.
It's all
our
in
dear
jest.
listeners, we thought we'd help you out in case you have completely stuffed up and forgotten it's Christmas this week. It's 7 days away. Crazy. What are you doing? So we've compiled a list of some PlayStation or gaming gear that you could get your loved ones or people that you have to buy a gift for. Isn't that right, Tom? Yes, it is.
I didn't hear if that was a question to me. I'm very sorry.
That's all right. So, Tom, what is something that you'd get someone for Christmas?
So I think,
related?
and I've kind of put my short list of things in first PlayStation and then general gaming things order, and kind of more expensive to least expensive, and would suggest from the top that probably a close family member of yours, as opposed to a friend, unless you are Mr. McMoneybags, I think it's well worth getting them a PSVR, or maybe getting yourself a PSVR if you're.
That's probably the better option.
If you're in need of buying yourself a.
Do you think it's worth it now?
Gift. I've been in the camp of PSVR pretty much always being worth it, or at least in my mind, or someone in my position, no kids, reasonable job, so on and so forth. There's no reason not to get into it because there are fantastic games already available for it, and the PSX that we just had has got another, I don't know if I'd say complete buttload of games coming out for it, but another healthy dose of PSVR coming in 2018. So if not now, I'm also assuming that they've got that model refresh all up in stock in stores this side of Christmas.
Have they brought it out yet? I'm not sure if the HDR one is out yet.
So when the news story came out, it said that it was quietly getting onto shelves in the next fortnight or in the next month or something. I seem to remember.
Just replaced it without us knowing.
Yeah, and I think it's just sort of quietly been slipped in. You know how they do with the Slim. They more or less quietly, they announce it slightly more, but it's not like on X date you will not be able to get an original PS4 anymore. You can only buy a Slim. They just naturally sell through the stock of original PS4s, and then the only thing you can find is a Slim one. So I'm assuming that's already happened, although I don't know 100%.
Is it worth getting the Move controllers? Do you need the Move controllers?
I haven't played anything yet with my Move controllers. I didn't buy them, but I do have them hanging around since PS3. And they've been perpetually on charge for the year or so that I've had the PlayStation VR. It never used. I think if you can pick up a PSVR and Farpoint and the gun, then that's a thing you should go for. I think there are more games, it sounds like, coming out that use the gun and want you in that position.
I think Bravo Team.
Yeah, there's Bravo Team. There's I was listening to. Oh, is that the 4v4?
No, I don't think so. That's the Supermassive game. I think it's
All right.
There was another game that showed at PSX.
There's a solid handful anyway that are coming out that either require or are made better with the gun, and everything that I've played so far that gives move wands as optional, I've just played with DualShock 4 and not really worried. So that's where my inclination would be anyway, to pick up Farpoint and
yep. So that would be a recommendation to bundle it with the PSVR.
I have a funny feeling as well that there is a bundle. I clearly have fact checked myself on all of these things prior to getting on this episode. But yeah, I think that should be top of your list if you're in that sort of price range of gift buying for oneself.
Okay, well, I was going a bit lowball. What sort of games you get for somebody? Maybe if you're buying a PlayStation for the first time, I think you have to get the complete edition of Horizon Zero Dawn if they haven't already played it this year. Horizon's probably one of the top games this year, and if you haven't played it, you're crazy.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And that Game of the Year edition, no doubt, is sort of a masterclass of that kind of marketing. That we've released our DLC, which is also very highly praised, and at the same time, there's a complete edition a few weeks out from Christmas. I don't think it's a G-rated game, but I don't think it's particularly violent, really. I guess I guess it's violent in that you're
only minimal killing other humans.
Well, yeah, maybe what I'm thinking. So I was trying to do if I had children, would I let them play it, or at what age would I let them play it? And I played God of War when I was 12 or something, or maybe a little bit older than that, and that had rub the joystick side to side to make a woman orgasm health at you. So I feel like that is far more inappropriate.
What all games should have.
Well, that's probably a discussion for another episode. But I think if 12-year-old me played that and the hack and slash gore, then I think there's no reason why 10-year-old me couldn't have played Horizon and really enjoyed it. So that's maybe even one for the not the kids, but
maybe not the kiddies.
Maybe
the
not.
teens.
Yeah,
the tweens.
The tweens. There you go. That's what I'm after. Yeah. It's like a tween
that's the
plus.
market we want to capture.
Yeah.
All right. What else do you recommend, Tom?
So I was thinking, and this has sort of been a pain point of mine for a little while. I got the PS4 Pro and I got one of the upgraded controllers. So at the moment I have one upgraded controller with the better battery and the slightly grayer buttons and all these things, and 3 original DualShock 4s that all take about 10 attempts at plugging in to start charging and all only last for about a collective 20 minutes and this sort of stuff. So I was thinking that I would appreciate a new DualShock 4. And I would have to imagine at this point in the PlayStation's life cycle, there's probably a whole bunch of early adopter PS4 players that have got that are having a similar issue. And yeah, because my new controller, plug it in once, you're away laughing, it's charging, don't worry, and it'll last for the majority of a day for you. But these other ones are just pieces of shit, to the point where I'm ready to just bin them or take them into EB and trade them in and get $5 each on the 3 of them towards.
Do they trade them in?
I've
never done that before.
My local EB does trade in controllers as well. I know, having at different points in time taken and purchased PS3 controllers from there, and a PS3 controller still set you back like $50 or something in New Zealand. So. I'd have to imagine you'll get a healthy tenner or something like that.
Yep. So PS4 controllers, all the different colors of the rainbow, pretty much you can get now.
Yeah. So there's all sorts of colors, not different shapes and sizes, but that's all right. Yeah,
I think they've actually got a mini version, like not authentic, but like
that like that gamepad one. That's right.
yeah.
I don't know if that
That's
was
interesting.
for kids or like a disability focused one, but they did. Now that you say it, it was almost like a sort of NES, SNES kind of
Yeah.
like rectangle, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. So that'd be an interesting gift for somebody. Jumping off that, the other thing I would recommend is getting a charging unit, like a charging dock for your controllers.
Yeah.
Yep. That'd make a great gift. Very practical. I would highly recommend getting one because just wires everywhere sucks.
Does that
Is
does it mess with your battery, like the longevity of the battery?
I
do you
don't-
know, or
obviously I don't know.
does it not really affect you because they're always fully charged?
No, well, the one I've got, I don't know the brand or anything, but
Yeah.
once it's charged, it turns itself. It stops charging.
Oh,
So
sick!
yeah.
So
Well,
mate-
it seems like it stops charging.
If anybody
So-
listening to this wants to get me a present, I will gladly give you the 3 DualShock 4s that I've got to trade in to EB. Pick me up another DualShock 4 and one of those. I think there's a For the Players kind of branded Sony or might be like Nyko created or something.
Yeah.
Like charger for 2 controllers. So I have 2 DualShock 4s,
Yeah.
permanent controlling booth. Look nice on my TV unit. Yeah, that's a fantastic
Yeah.
idea. Maybe that's what I'll get myself, given that I've already got PSVR.
Yeah. What else do you have, Tom?
So I'm not a player of Destiny, but I have to imagine that Destiny 2 would be a pretty reasonable gift for somebody. Understanding from my, as I say, non-player perspective that it is fun. People have a great time with it and a very long time with it. The game's something that's gonna be supported sort of perpetually, it feels like at this point, basically for the rest of time. You can't really go wrong on picking that bad boy up.
Yeah, just unless you're Nicholas Pryor, then just Destiny 2 is definitely something you should pick up. It's going to be going for a while, I would imagine.
Nick is fantastic. That's what Nick is.
Another thing I would recommend for someone for Christmas, GTA 5. It keeps going on and on. If you haven't bought it already, somebody else is going to buy it because clearly it's selling every single month.
Yeah.
But GTA 5 with the GTA Online, I mean, you can play it forever pretty much.
I have nearly become part of the problem so many times with that game. At this point, I'm like, it was a number of years ago I played it on PS3. I had a great time. I know that they've put so much work into it since. I should probably buy it on PS4 and play it again because it was that much fun. And I kind of think it, and then I'm like, no. You already own it. If you want to play it on PS3. It's the same game. It's sitting on the shelf just over there. Don't have to buy it digitally, and then it comes up on special on the PlayStation Store, and I'm like, oh, it's $40 at the moment, and I get a whole bunch of shark credits instead of it being being $100 because, as you say, it's selling it like hotcakes, so they very rarely discount it. I'm like, oh, maybe I will, and every single time I have to talk myself out of it, but it's got to be how it's selling so immensely.
Yeah, it's pretty tempting. I got it on PS3, which is, in hindsight, probably a mistake. Should have waited.
Well, yeah, I back when when it came out, I was kind of banking on them announcing, because I think did it come out the same year as PS4?
I don't think so. I think it was a little bit earlier.
Or was it the year before? Anyway, I was expecting, for what reason I'm not sure, I was expecting them to announce a PS4 version at the same time, and then I would gladly hold off on the PS3, buy it on PS4, because that would be a great excuse to pick up a PS4 on day one. But then we didn't get news for quite some time about GTA coming onto to PS4, which was partly disappointing. But then I'd also spent so much time in it on PS3 that it didn't matter.
No. But if you're one of the 3 people in the world who hasn't played GTA 5, get on it. Or get it for that person for Christmas, yeah.
And
what
then
else do you recommend, Tom?
the last
sorry.
PlayStation-centric idea that I've got is just PSN credit. Like, if
that's an easy...
If it's an easy one, and it's one of those ones where people know exactly how much you've spent, but it really doesn't matter. It's kind of like I've like received it for my birthday from like work friends and things before, and it's like, here is a $10 PlayStation Network voucher. I know full well that you can't afford an entire game for $10 unless something's on really on special. But just the person gifting me that saying, I understand that PlayStation is your thing. It's a hobby that you spend a fair bit of time on, really enjoy. This will help you towards something. I don't know, it could be horse armor, it could be a complete game that's on special, or it could be 10% of GTA 5 because you decided to buy it when it wasn't on sale. But yeah, just any amount of PlayStation Store credit is always graciously received in my house.
Awesome. Well, if you don't want something too expensive, I would recommend getting the little Stubbins plushes. Have you seen these?
The what?
So they're a licensed PlayStation line of stuff, like little plush toys.
Mm-hmm.
So they've got your Ratchet, your Clank, you've got Aloy and Nathan Drake and Sackboy. They're all quite adorable. So yeah, pick one of those up for a friend.
A little Aloy would be quite cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it looks cool.
Maybe
With red hair and everything.
Maybe she deserves to go on my desk at work next to Geralt and Triss and Yen and...
Yeah, they've also got the pop vinyls out
all them.
for Horizon as well, so if you've got a friend who's into those, it's an easy sell.
Are you into the pop vinyls?
Yeah, I've got some pop vinyls.
How many are some pop vinyls?
Maybe 12 to 15.
Oh, okay, that's not that bad. I expected you to say some, and then you've got like an entire room like Jack does.
No, I've got a friend who's got like 30 plus.
Yeah. I have 5. I have 5,
that's generous.
They are the 5 Witcher ones.
Yeah,
and they sit on my desk at work. Still in the boxes. I intended to take them out of the boxes when I started my new job in July. Didn't. Now they're conveniently still packed for me packing my desk up this week. So, fantastic.
That worked out.
Yeah.
What else do you recommend gaming-wise, Tom?
Again, it's a high roller one, but if somebody doesn't have a Switch, or if you don't have a Switch, it's a great place to jump in. I'm almost certain there will be some kind of Mario bundle. My local EB...
It'd be crazy if they haven't done a Mario bundle.
Yeah, there has to be.
I'm pretty sure there is one where you get a digital code, you don't get the actual cartridge. But.
Yeah. My local EB has had a Nintendo sale recently. It might have been like around Black Friday, so you may be a bit late. But it's very infrequent, like once a year infrequent, that Nintendo games actually go on sale. And they very rarely are reduced in retail price. So if you can find something on sale, there's a Switch, there's a Mario, there's a Zelda, there's even a Mario Kart, which I still think is fantastic. Particularly if there's a couple of you with a Switch and you can easy get in on not even the Wi-Fi, they just talk directly to each other and play some sweet 16-player races or 12-player races or something immense. Well worth it.
Yep.
Or any combination of those games and that console.
Cool. Switch, yeah. Oh, it's so tempting just to pick one up, but it's a bit out of the budget at the moment.
You'll get there.
I would recommend. I'm surprised you haven't mentioned this. If you haven't got
Dynasty
already,
Warriors Godseekers? Yeah, I'd recommend that on Vita.
that too. That's a thing. I guess you won't be able to be in the top 10 of the platinum. Is it top 10 yet? Top 10 platinum people?
Oh, well, I
people
believe
got
so. Let
Okay.
me...
So you've missed out.
One moment, please, caller. I'm going to just check to make sure that I'm still inside the top 10. I think I was like 4th or 7th or
I think
something.
it was like 6 or
originally,
something.
so.
I'll edit this out.
Oh, no, I was going to say you can continue talking.
I was going to
with
say,
your
I'm
option.
surprised you haven't said Witcher 3 Game of the Year Edition
Oh,
is a must
fuck yeah.
for anyone with a console that can play it.
The Witcher 3 Game of the Year edition is a must for anyone with a heartbeat, not just anyone with a console. So if they don't have a PS4, get them that and make them play The Witcher. I genuinely didn't even think of it when I was talking about the pop vinyls as well. But I think it must have been out last year as well.
Yeah.
So that was on the list of recommendations last year. You might not have caught that episode.
No, yeah. Might have just missed it. It swung by. What else would you recommend, Tom?
Oh.
Any other recommendations? Have you found if you're still in the top
No,
10?
I didn't have any other recommendations, but I can confirm I am number 8 on the list of Godseekers Platinum Achievers, and the list is only 25 currently. So
No, that's So what were you again?
8.
Number 8. So it's like tripled the number of people who've platinum it.
Yeah, it has.
That math's right?
That the math checks out. I'm trying to do. I often do like a little bit of math in my head, looking at the PSN profiles percentage and the percentage that PlayStation actually reports on a particular trophy. To go, if 25% is equal to 3.8, or 25 people is equal to 3.8, but the real thing says only 1.5 people have done it, then you're like, cool, it's like 56 people or something like that have actually gotten the platinum. Figured out by that difference in percentage, but it doesn't work very well on iOS.
No.
So I'll check in with that one on me on Twitter, and I'll have done the real math.
Yeah. Also, just general merch. That's always a good idea. T-shirts, caps, socks.
A man
always fun
can
to have
never be
something-
without too many pairs of socks and undies. And if you brought me some, I don't know, a pair of undies with Aloy smack bang on the front, then I'd probably thank you for that.
I'm sure they've got those. Or like one of the watches.
Yeah,
from the game.
yeah.
Or a Thunderjaw.
If you manage to somehow find like a banana hammock with the watcher's eye on the end, so that it looks like my junk is a watcher from Horizon Zero Dawn, I probably won't show you, but I probably will have a fun time with it.
Oh god. All right, guys.
Not really. I think that's a terrible idea, but it was funny. So
I hope you found something useful amongst that. Pretty much just buy someone PSVR. That seems like a good idea.
Yeah, I just, again, I think it's always been time, but that's my personal situation. And given that Sony have shown that they're supporting it well into 2018, good investment.
Yeah. All right, switching it up a little bit. I wanted to talk about disappointing gaming things from this year. I guess sort of to bring it down. I know that Dylan's intending to do top gaming moments from the good stuff next week. So I thought we'd bring it down this week.
We can do the opposite and
stuff.
let him pick you up next week.
Fitting that I'm doing this. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. After your episode yesterday of Pleasure Explosion, where I asked you to review 2017, and you came to me with all of the most depressing things from every month. So,
yeah. Got to stay on trend.
Yeah. You're building a brand, Ash, aren't you? That's what it's for.
Yeah, it's good. So number one for me was the first thing that came to mind when I thought of this was Ukulele.
Oh,
So that
wow,
had
yeah.
been a Kickstarter game done by the guys who had done worked at Rare and done Banjo-Kazooie and those sort of platformers. Finally came out this year, and it was just plagued by camera issues. It was fun for the first maybe hour, but yeah, the camera just was the most difficult part of that game.
Just ruined it. I haven't played it. Having not been a huge sort of, I guess, Rare fan back in the day, with their 3D mascot platforming type things. Yeah, but I did hear it's a little bit of a disappointment. It's coming on Switch, and
well, I think they've been patching it like consistently.
Yeah, I think they've been putting
maybe
in
some of the issues
the
have
work.
been solved.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, and I would. Although the original release was a disappointment, it might be worth seeking out the Switch review for when you purchase that Switch for yourself and see if it's on worthy of the list alongside
how well it's
Zelda,
improved.
Cat, and Mario.
Yeah. All right. What do you want to bring to the table, Tom?
So
Disappointing wise,
in no particular order, apart from the order that I happened to think of them, Mass Effect Andromeda came out earlier this year, and I didn't play it, but I remember it being generally a big disappointment to Mass Effect fans. There was all sorts of hoo-ha, and obviously that studio has been absorbed into other projects through EA, and those studios up in Canada, aren't they? Instead of working on the game any further, working on any DLC, other extra content, they've just been it's just been put on hold, which I've not played a Mass Effect, let alone the worst Mass Effect, but I think it's a big disappointment for plenty of people around the world.
Yeah, I remember that when the news broke on that. Just so many disappointed people. I don't know. All the facial animation stuff, and then people went crazy against some woman on Twitter, art direction person. I remember.
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I do remember Jason Schreier's article that he'd done his little deep dive behind the scenes and found people talking about how the game essentially pulled together in the last 18 months after 3 or so years worth of experimentation into No Man's Sky-esque generated planets or galaxy that just didn't pan out for whatever reason. Which damn shame happens in software development, certainly. But yeah, disappointing.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Another disappointment, obviously, there was a lot of studio closures this year, but probably the big one was Visceral, because that was the EA game we were all wanting.
Fuck.
The Amy Hennig story-based Star Wars game. Yeah.
I'd not even put that on my list because I'd managed to block it from my memory because it's such a deep hole of disappointment. But yeah, you've reminded me of it now, and yeah, that's a crying shame, isn't it?
Yeah. If you haven't read the Jason Schreier article on the Visceral Games closure, you should definitely do that. It's an interesting read.
Yeah, and
it'll break your heart even more.
Another great one. Yeah.
What have you got next, Tom?
So next, I put Red Dead being pushed because it was something that I'm certain happened, although I don't remember the original date or what the push to date was. May have even been that it was supposed to be out this Christmas and was pushed into next year. I could be corrected, but I'm certain it was pushed from a date to a later date, which is some shitty news, and I'm sure there are plenty of other games that other people are looking forward to that got delayed for one reason or another.
Every time it's further away, it's just more disappointment.
Yeah, exactly. For me, it's Red Dead that I've got to wait even longer to play. for others, I'm sure it is other things. Ni no Kuni
It was
recently.
meant to be out second half of this year. So.
Yeah, there you go. So it was originally 2017, but pushed into next year. Yeah, Ni no Kuni's had a delay of a couple of weeks.
That's been pushed just recently, yeah.
Yeah, or
So it's going to be pushed to March, which I think is going to be... That's going to be interesting because you've got God of War and a couple of other big titles that month, so...
It's a couple more weeks than I expected as well.
Yeah.
And I know Far Cry got a bump. Maybe Far Cry is the one that got the bump of only a couple of weeks as opposed to months. But yeah. And I know they're early 2018 games now at this point, but it's the news we received this year.
Yeah. It's always disappointing to find out that stuff's further away than you think.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. I'm going to channel Jack here and say AFL Evolution.
Oh, wow.
Disappointing. It wasn't a surprise, but it was still disappointing that it wasn't good.
Yeah.
At least good.
Was it a disappointment, or was it the steaming hot mess of garbage that you anticipated?
It was playable. There was some fun to be had in there, but
that is
especially
a box
Jack, who
quote
had his
if ever I've heard
hopes
one.
so high. Jack had his hopes so high, and he was just crushed.
What a fool! What a fool!
Yeah.
Serves you right, Jack.
I think
never get your hopes
even-
up for anything, and then you'll always be pleasantly surprised.
I think even Southern Hemisphere sports games in general, I don't think Rugby League Live 4 or whatever it was called wasn't great
Yeah.
this year. I don't think Rugby 18 rated very well, reviewed very well from what I've read. Although Ashes Cricket apparently is pretty good.
Yeah, I was just thinking there was a cricket one as well. I couldn't remember if it was Don Bradman or Ashes or
It was Ashes, yeah.
but yeah.
Apparently that's good. Might have to pick it up.
Well,
What else
you
have
could
you got for me,
equally
Tom?
not, and it wouldn't
Yeah.
be that bad. You should
Yeah.
put it. You should put it on your Christmas list if it was.
I
If it
should
was
put
something
it on
to
my
pick up.
Christmas list.
It's a pretty big one, but the whole loot box microtransaction debacle is how I put it on my notes. That not quite every game, but a lot of big games were plagued in some respect with people talking about their use of microtransactions.
Obviously, the two games that come to mind are obviously Star Wars Battlefront 2 and Middle Earth Shadow of War.
Yeah, and the thing that I find interesting about that, Star Wars Battlefront, by all accounts, appears to be like egregious overreach for trying to scrape cash out of people. But the Middle Earth Shadow of War one grates me a little bit because I played a whole bunch of that game. There was nothing that even on, I think I was playing on hard. There was nothing on hard that was too hard that I needed to spend money on to get more orcs, or there was nothing that I wanted to spend get more gear, or anything of the sort. It seemed like it was purely the fact that they were there that people complained, and there was a bit of crying wolf, which thankfully didn't go the way of the parable of crying wolf, and Star Wars got away with what they did because everybody was too busy worrying about the last time we cried about it and it was nothing. But I feel like they got shat on a little bit unnecessarily for that. My opinion and experience.
Middle Earth, it wasn't an issue in that, I don't think at all.
No.
It was definitely overblown. Other disappointments of the year, I think, obviously, I imagine for you personally, Marvel Heroes shutting down.
Wow, yeah.
Gazillion.
Yeah, so for any of you who aren't up with the play, 5 weeks ago, and you won't be up with the play because I haven't really spoken about it. 5 weeks ago, I broke my finger and had 2 weeks, or more or less 2 weeks off work, around about the same time that Gazillion was closing. And I managed to power my way to the Platinum Trophy in Marvel Heroes Omega, which was fantastic fun. And it sucks that a game like that has ceased to be forever, and people are out of jobs and all that sort of stuff, I'm not going to cry about it, because I think it was more opportunistic that I managed to get all of the trophies because I had power super mega XP boosts and all that sort of carry on, because they essentially made everything in the game free for the last 2 or 3 weeks that it was online. Yeah, it is. It sucks when anything closes, and actually makes me think. They mentioned the Demon Souls servers are getting turned off
down,
soon,
I think, as well.
which obviously is not the same sort of game in active development and so many people playing it, but I hear that will make a decent difference to that game. You no longer get the helpful / trollful signs, and the particular part of that game where you actually end up fighting another player as opposed to AI. It just won't happen anymore because they're not connecting players together with those pieces, which can go in that basket. And I'm certain there are other shutdowns like that, aren't there?
Yeah.
May even have been very early this year that Disney 3.0 was turning off.
Yeah, was that this year?
I feel like it was announced prior to Christmas last year, and then the servers were shut off sometime this year. But I'm happy to be corrected.
I don't know. So you're not going to get corrected now.
I know it was a little while ago that I was in EB, and by a little while ago I mean probably January, looking at the Disney 3.0 Star Wars figures and going on the Wikipedia page, and how many are there? Oh, there are about 30 of them. Is that too many if I put down $5 while they're on special at EB and end up with a shelf of Disney 3.0 characters to go with my amiibo that are all in their boxes and I don't ever fucking do anything with them? Why did I spend $1,500 on amiibos? I don't think anyone will ever know, but Claire's still with me, so it's okay.
That's always a plus.
It is.
Was it my turn or your turn?
I think it was my turn. I think you mentioned
Yes.
Marvel Heroes getting shut off, so I
Yes.
will bring up the PS4 crossplay debacle. It's another debacle on my list.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had that sort of, I forget who it was, but the European chief essentially pulling a Nintendo and saying, we don't want people playing together from different systems because we can't authenticate them and they might be kiddie fiddlers or something like that, which is more or less bullshit, because Xbox and Nintendo aren't going to let that kind of carry on happen on their platforms either, in the same strength that they aren't going to. So there was a little bit of fallout from that, and it's a shame. Like I don't play Rocket League or Minecraft anymore, but it'd be great if we could play with some Xbox friends or some Switch friends now.
Just make things easier.
Yeah, why not? And there was the time that Fortnite had crossplay by accident.
By accident.
Yeah, and it sounds as technically easy as there's some kind of enable crossplay thing in a database that's a 0 or a 1, and somebody had turned it on by making it a 1 type thing. Yeah, and then failed to turn it off. So yeah, it's possible, but they're just holding out on us, and I'm sure they have business reasons, and probably valid business reasons. It'd be cool if they told us what those valid business reasons are, instead of stuffing horseshit reasons of saving kids at us. So
yeah, it's not great. I can't think of anything else. Did you have anything else that you wanted to bring up?
yeah, I have a couple of things. So Pokemon Go Fest was this year, and it was an absolute shit show.
Oh, that fell apart.
Yeah.
But it wasn't Pokemon Go's fault. It was just the internet didn't work wherever they were.
Yeah. So I think it was fundamentally a bandwidth issue, but they sort of they hyped a major event, and it all turned to custard, which is a disappointment for probably the Pokemon Go Niantic brand, and certainly for Pokemon Go players, and yeah, bit of a shame.
Yep. I just thought of one. I would say for some other people, it would be the PSX showcase, the opening night discussion.
Yeah, but they were told
Because
what to expect.
it wasn't what everybody was expecting. Yeah.
No, I know.
I didn't mind, but I thought I'd bring it up.
Admittedly, after the Death Stranding trailers, I got sick of it and went and took the dog for a walk and haven't watched the final half yet. But yeah, I wouldn't say it was a disappointment because we weren't expecting crazy hype reel, or my expectations had been set listening to Kind of Funny Games Daily about all that stuff. So
yeah, unfortunately, internet wasn't.
Touched on Epic before, talking about Fortnite crossplay, but they're suing a child, or at least they were. I don't know how that's come sort of continued, but there was a point where I think some child was using some auto aim bot type shit on PC nerddom, and was getting sued for sort of terms of service.
Yeah,
Massery.
I think that was just a legal issue. They didn't really have a choice.
Oh, they
from memory.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, I think you have a choice. Like you can try and reprimand a 12-year-old that is cheating in your game in a more like community positive way than straight.
But I think he was like sharing how to do
suing
it.
his mum.
Is what?
Oh, really?
Their issue was. Yeah.
Maybe
it was like YouTube videos and that sort of thing. So
maybe I didn't dig into it that deeply. I just remember headlines and the fact that his mum sort of came up and was like, "He's an idiot child playing video games. What the fuck do you want from me?" Which is reasonably valid. Kid definitely knows what Pornhub is, doesn't he?
Yep, definitely. Anything else?
Yes, 3 more.
All right.
Quicker ones. Danny leaving Kind of Funny Games Daily. Danny O'Dwyer. That was a disappointment for me. I quite enjoyed him and what he did. But we've got...
I'm looking forward to he's got a Horizon documentary, I think, this week.
Oh, does he?
Next week.
I still need to watch his Witcher
Check
ones.
that out, no clip.
Yeah. Still need to watch the Witcher ones, and I'll get to that. But we did end up getting Gary Whitta on the show, which...
Yeah,
I don't want to say it's like a 1-for-1 replacement, but I do quite enjoy Gary in ways that I didn't enjoy Danny. And that sounds like I didn't enjoy Danny, but that's not what I meant. I mean, I like them in different ways.
He's different.
PewDiePie was dropping the N-bomb. That happened this year, didn't it?
Yeah. Yes, it did.
Which is just like a disappointment for the industry, and I don't know quite what happened to... Probably absolutely
there was another
nothing
disappointment
from
in the
him.
industry this week as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Dr. Disrespect, our trending gamer for 2017, coming out and revealing he'd been unfaithful to his wife this past week. So
it's that's an interesting one. It's a personal one, which is like I think disappointing for his fans. It doesn't affect me.
No,
plenty of people cheat all the time, which doesn't make it acceptable. It's disappointing for his fans, but I don't think it can quite tar the industry from a mainstream perspective into video games as much as PewDiePie dropping the N-bomb on a stream can. Was it this year that he did all the anti-Semitic stuff as well with that Fiverr?
Yeah, that all sort of came up this year.
Yeah, so PewDiePie was still on YouTube this year, and that was a disappointment. And finally...
You think he's got enough money to retire by now?
Yeah, well, he definitely does. Yeah. But when you're still making that stupid amount of money, Ash, would you give it up?
That's true. Hopefully we're in that position one day.
Oh, okay. PUBG being nominated for Game of the Year. That's a disappointment.
Yeah. Well, at least it won't be nominated next year, you would think.
You would think. No, that was much more of a tongue-in-cheek kind of thing. Like I don't particularly care. I wouldn't vote for it myself, but mostly because I haven't played it. If I'd played a hell of a lot of it, I would probably think this is a game, regardless of being finished or not. Is it fun? How does it compare to the rest of my list? So, yeah. That's me.
Cool.
That's me for
So that's all the
disappointments.
disappointing news. So
Way to stay on
great.
brand.
yeah, let's move to trophy talk. Trophy time. What's the name of this segment? I haven't done this in a while.
Every trophy counts.
Every trophy counts. That's what it's called. Sorry, Dylan. There is only one trophy list that I want to bring up this week, and that is Accounting Plus, the game from Crows.
Yeah.
It's due out today, as far as I'm aware. It
Really?
is
That was a lot quicker than I
Yes.
expected.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw the date, December 19th. Hopefully that is worldwide and not just America.
Yeah.
But it says worldwide on PSN profiles, so I am assuming it's true. It is 1
Killer.
platinum, 11 gold.
That's pretty
How
solid.
does that sound to you?
That
For
sounds
VR experience, I'd say it's a couple of hours, like an hour or something, maybe.
Yeah, so it depends on what you need to do to get those trophies. Like a gold heavy list, I'm quite happy with. I've got no issues with that. Fundamentally, yeah. But if I think with the VR games, you can't try and expect somebody to spend 100 hours in VR to get a whole bunch of trophies. If part of what you're trying to sell is that trophy experience too. So, yeah, I hope
Yeah.
it's entirely reasonable.
It looks entirely reasonable, although I don't know. There's some like kill Flute Guy once and for all, earn the friendship of the gatekeeper, do what has to be done to summon our Dark Lord Satan. So I don't know how hard they're going to be, how many playthroughs you're going to have to do. But I've seen playthroughs of the original, of the Steam version, or the High VR, whatever it's called, the other one that's not Oculus.
Vive,
Vive, that's it.
HTC
why.
Vive,
Hive. HTC Vive.
HTC
yes.
being the manufacturer and Vive being
The product.
the product name. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I've seen people play it on that. It looks fun. It's from the guy behind Rick and Morty is one of the writers, and I think the guy who did the Stanley Parable is also on the team. So definitely check that out if you've got PSVR.
Yeah, so I have heard good things about it. Might check it out. I'm also conscious, I think, between the last episode and this, that the Battlefront story DLC is dropped. There's only 3
The
bronze
Last Jedi
trophies.
stuff?
Yeah, the Last Jedi stuff. There's only 3 bronze trophies to that. I haven't played it yet, but I'm very much looking forward to. I would imagine it's only going to be an extra 40 minutes or an hour's worth of
Couple hours.
content for those 3 missions. Yeah, but by all accounts that I have heard, and I'm fairly certain that's one person in the Kind of Funny Facebook group, all of those accounts, it is fun. Adds a bit more to the story of Iden Versio, and that everyone should get involved.
You've played the campaign. Should I just picked up Battlefront 2 recently. Should I play the campaign? Because all I've heard is negative.
But why wouldn't you play the campaign? I think is the question. It's if you like Star Wars, there are some cool moments. It's like, it's not a spoiler because everybody knows that the Death Star gets blown up, but you see it from on Hoth being destroyed in the sky, which is really, really cool. And a planet that they go to, particularly Iden's home planet, maybe slightly influenced by me having read the book first, but some of the tone of that planet and sort of the architecture and trees and posters that are up and all were really cool. And I have them like burned in my memory, both from reading about them in the books and then seeing them in the in the world, and I loved it. Yeah, there. Yes, you can complain that they put in a Luke level and a Han level and a Lando level because they're heroes that you play with in the game. But if you look past that, then it's an enjoyable couple of hours. And because we're talking trophies,
Yeah.
there's a bunch of easy trophies. You get
Yeah.
a Star Wars story that feels relatively Star Warsy, and you get at least a gold, a handful of silvers, and maybe 8 or 10 bronzes. So
Awesome. Is there any other trophies you've picked up that you want to talk about? It's been a while since you've been on.
I mentioned Marvel Heroes Omega, didn't I? I did do the Wolfenstein Old Blood prior to Wolfenstein 2 coming out, although I haven't yet played Wolfenstein 2, so that plan didn't backfire, but has taken slightly longer to
Take a detour.
really come to fruition than expected. I haven't played. I got the Fractured But Whole Platinum, and that's an outstanding game. I haven't done My Name is Mayo on the 2 platforms yet, which I know certain people have, and
Jordan.
I frown at them for doing so. It means the floodgates are opened, and I would be welcome to do it at any point in time, should I feel so inclined.
I'm pretty sure you're so far ahead that it's not a contest.
So I haven't checked in a while, actually, given that more pressing things happening at work. Last time I did look, I was still ahead by 130%. I know that Jono plays a reasonable amount of games, and I've been doing a reasonable amount of drinking with my colleagues, so haven't been playing quite as much as I could have lately. So, yeah, wouldn't be surprised if he's doing a bit of catching up, but he's also running.
He's got like a secret account. He's offline at the moment, and then he's going to just go online, and then all the trophies will
pop all his Vita trophies.
Yeah.
I considered doing that with Sly, but then I thought that was a bit too cheeky. Dylan warned me off it because he was like, what if your Vita dies and you didn't sync like 3 platinum trophies to the server? I was like, that's a very good point. I don't think that's worth it. I'll just make it known to everybody that I'm playing Sly Cooper.
Yeah, good choice.
Yeah.
Cool. So that brings us to the end of this week's Platinum Explosion.
I was wondering if you had
Tom,
anything.
where can people find you?
Sorry to interrupt your outro.
No, you're good.
I was wondering if you had anything that you were looking forward to playing over the break. I don't know if you've got like Christmas time off, or do you work through?
No, not really. I'll be working through, but I want to power through the rest of Guardians of the Galaxy. Just get that finished.
Yep.
It's not great, but there's a platinum trophy at the end of that.
Gotta do it.
So, and I haven't touched South Park yet.
Oh, criminal!
Yeah, that was a mistake.
Get on that.
Yeah, I didn't finish Stick of Truth, so I feel like I should play that through first.
Criminal!
I know.
Play that. Play it on PS4 because you would have got it for free. Follow a guide. I'll try and find you a good one. Zyger pointed me towards
I'm not concerned about getting the platinum.
Yeah,
I know
you
that
are.
there's the Pokemon things.
Chin Pokemon. There are a bunch of missable trophies, and I think there's a very good guide that tells you exactly what to do to get it in one playthrough. Which, if you're interested, I would point you towards.
Awesome. What are you going to play during the break?
So you bring up
newfound time off.
Guardians of the Galaxy. So maybe Guardians and maybe Tales from the Borderlands could fill a rainy day
Tales.
each. Both of those. I haven't played them. I picked up Last Day of June lately. That's something that I want to go through. Although I know that that's just kind of an afternoon's bit of playing.
Play through.
Yeah, I've Call of Duty and Battlefront 1, both of the campaigns, would be good to go through. And if ever Jack decides to fucking send it to me, I might play Wolfenstein 2.
Jack.
Yeah. That's sort of the key things from my my backlog list that I think I'll get to address.
Awesome. Well, I think that is the end of this week's Platinum Explosion. Tom, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me, Tom DaBomb89, TomDabom89. If you have any facts that you have checked as I discussed things from the top of my head, then I appreciate them being sent to me.
Awesome. And you can find me on Twitter at Ashley Hobley, ASHLEYHOBLEY. It's a thing. You can follow the show at Explosion Pod. You can follow us on Facebook at Explosion Network. Send us an email at platinum@explosionnetwork.com and find all our awesome explosive content at explosionnetwork.com.
Best of the year lists and all that sort of carry
Best
on.
of the year. This Saturday, our best of the year game list will be up for you to judge and comment on. So feel free to do that.
Please.
Tom, thank you very much for joining me this week. Thank you for joining me this week.
Oh, wow. Sorry. That all came through in just one mash. You can cut this bit out. Oh, it's been a pleasure to be here. Thanks, Ash.
Yeah. Listeners, have a good Christmas and drive safe.
Happy holidays. Bye.
Happy holidays. Plat plat. Probably should say that.
Nah, you don't have to. Happy holidays and a happy new year from everyone at the Explosion Network. With December, of course, comes award season hype, and the Explosion Network is dropping a top 10 list every week until the end of the year. Stay tuned to explosionnetwork.com for our pick of the best games, movies, and more from 2017. Alderaan Explosion concludes December 15th, so make sure to catch the last 2 episodes as we count down to and then watch The Last Jedi. Swag announcement. T-shirts now available at designbyhumans.com/shop/Explosion Network. Grab a design with Bevan on it, or one with Plat Plat to rep the network. And of course, our weekly shows continue. Pleasure Explosions Monday, Platinum Explosion Tuesdays, Grandstand Gurus Thursdays, each at 12 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Catch our live streams on twitch.tv/Explosion Network, and keep your targets locked on explosionnetwork.com for all of our explosive content.